Guys, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
This is great.
Of course. So you both edited the 2023 30 Under 30 Forbes list. So first, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Massive undertaking, I'm sure. So tell us, what does it take to get onto the list?
Whew, there is a lot of different things. We evaluate so many different components. So I think we're looking at, are people innovative? Do they have new and exciting ideas that haven't been done before? Obviously, we're Forbes, so we look at the business angle. We look at their funding, their investors, their revenue to see if it's a healthy company, what the future of the company is going to look like. Steve, you have any other things you think are important?
You've covered those are the big things, like innovators, new ideas. We want, founders over employees. And it doesn't mean we don't have, people that work at giant companies doing big roles, but, Ty always goes to this person that's an entrepreneur. We also want scale. Like, it's important if I created a new, kind of soda, like, is it on every shelf in Whole Foods or Costco or like Target? You want to show like how big it is and how big it can be. And what's also interesting, why don't you talk about the process of
Yes.
because we always say it's like harder to get on the under 30 list than any top college in the country and that sort of stuff.
It's crazy. So we have I think this year we had over 12,000 nominations, which is, it's up there. And it's some of our top nominations.
People really want to get on this list.
They really do. So from there, we have reporters look at every single nomination. So we're looking at everything. From there, we do our own research too. We ask our sources, we ask analysts, we have say, hey, who do you think should be on this list? We narrow it down to about our top maybe 200. And then from there, we send a smaller chunk to our judges. This year, we had some amazing judges. We had Joe Jonas, we had Remy Wolf, we had Bobby Brown. So we have actual experts in the fields evaluating these people.
And so how do you pick these judges?
So we do a wide ask. We ask people who've done it before, so they know what they're doing, but we also try and get some new and exciting people. But we're looking for the top experts in their field. So if it's music, like clearly someone like Joe Jonas knows what it takes to be in the music business. Bobby Brown, who's done retail, clearly a leader in retail. And we also have some Forbes judges. So our chief content officer, Randall Lane, he judges the social impact list and the food and drink list. So we get a good mix of people there.
Yeah, but exactly said, like Kristin said, experts. Like we've had everyone from Steve Ballmer in tech to David Chang in food. And then we also always want to have at least one under 30 alumni as a judge as well, because they are on the ground. They are probably pretty close to the age.
Sure.
So it's great to have these amazing mentors, but they might be in their 50s and 60s, and they see like the big picture. But then the under 30 judges, under 30 alumni judges, are kind of more like grassroots and see like what's really happening. So we like to have those two things.
It sounds like a very involved process, and like you were saying, there's industry experts in each category. Can you break down the categories for us?
Who do you want us to list all 20?
You don't need to list all of them.
Okay.
Just like
no. There's so that's it's 30 under 30, but there's 20 categories with 30 entries or people for each one. So that's everything from consumer tech to food and drink to social impact. All right, give me 3.
Social media, finance, and
Hollywood.
Hollywood. There you go. That's easy.
So that's some. But yes, we try to represent basically everything out there into 20 categories, and they do shift. So like
social media is a pretty new category too. That I think only came about in the last couple of years because previously we had this creator phenomenon is so new. So we had these people, but on different lists like Hollywood or food and drink or wherever. But now we actually have a dedicated social media list, which Benito Skinner is our lead of this year, Benny Drama.
Benny Drama, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love following Benny Drama. But you're talking about how the list has evolved. It launched over a decade ago. So how has it evolved since then?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. This is our 12th list. I've actually done them all.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I've been a part a part of them all and seen it evolve. And I think the biggest thing how it changed is how, the impact of this list. Like we knew it would be a good list, but it became something like this feather in people's caps when they got it. So it's just grown, and as social media has grown, it's become this kind of digital, almost digital trophy. So, we have some stats that I think, over 90% of listers, when the day of they make the list, they've updated their LinkedIn profiles, like they're under 30 listers. You see folks who, they're on social media, they're, talking about it and sharing it. People put it on their email signatures. So it's become that. And I think in general, but the list itself, it's grown. So we used to have 15 categories. We now have 20. We've expanded across the globe. So Forbes has, 50 plus licensees. Most of them have their own kind of regional lists, whether it's, under 30, Spain, or under 30, Middle East, that sort of thing. And then, we have a Europe list now for all of Europe, and we do an Asia list. And it's also gotten, luckily, I think, a lot more diverse across the board from the first list. And, that's never done, but we're proud of how that's going.
You just mentioned that it's like a feather in your cap when you're named on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. So can you both speak to what being named on the list does for a person's personal brand?
Yeah, we met with a lot of under 30s this year at our Detroit Summit, and I think the biggest thing they told us is they get a foot in the door. So whereas before they could never get any meetings with investors and people wouldn't take them seriously, now investors are more willing to give them a chance and say, hey, all right, we'll have a meeting with you because Forbes is deeming you a little bit more legit.
Yeah.
So I think it's really helped people with that, and it's also helped our under 30 listers connect with their fellow listers. So they're collaborating together, they're working together, they're doing things that they might not have had an opportunity to with other brands who also were awarded the lister designation.
Yeah, I think it really also depends on, and its impact depends on what kind of category they're in. So we've heard of, if you're in a startup, you're getting more funding. We've had, my favorite thing is when you have charities or social impact, they get tons of grants they never would have gotten. Like these are people trying to do good, and they're trying to attract the world's attention, play a small part in that really helps. So we love that. People in finance, we've heard they always get headhunters calling them. They try to get poached. So some big banks don't like their people being on it because then they're getting calls from rivals to get them on these things. So that is funny.
We have under 30 relationships, we have under 30 marriages, we have under 30 babies. So it also helps in your personal life sometimes.
Yes, I know people also add it to their dating profiles as well.
Exactly.
But yes, there are under 30 babies.
I love that. It sounds like there's a real sense of community